So, there's this girlie here named Ruby working her day shift at the local Tiffany & Co. when this piece of work and his New Yorkian stride in, being all, "Hey, put your hands in the air." And she's like, "No, I most certainly will not put my hands in the air," and completely lambasts them with this massive gun sight thing. And it's one of those things that sounds really fucking stupid, but is actually a whole lot cooler in practice. So the baddies turn tail, and because the local high school has jurisdiction over the entire city, Ruby ends up taking the heat for it. She gets cross-examined by two of the faculty members, Ozzy Ozpin and Mommy Momwitch, who are like, "Girl, you casually murdered 2 people, destroyed thousands of dollars in property damage, and confronted a shoplifter? You do realize where we have to send you now, right?" Juvenile hall? Nah, girl, you're going to superhero school! So Ruby Rose gets a literal full ride to Beacon Academy, cause evidently, these remnants of Remnant are destroying the planet, and teenagers are their absolutely last line of defense. Her big sis Yang the Onesan is there as well, and at this point in the series, there are 2 very outstanding parts that define her personality. Anyway, they land at the school with a bunch of faceless shadow people, and we get formally introduced to Jean Arc, and Rubes is like, "No way, you're from another world?" Yeah, I got smashed by a truck the other day and woke up here because, like, I'm destined to save the world and stuff. I already got like a billion chicks wanting to suck my cock, but you know, I wouldn't mind putting you on the waiting list if you want. She also runs into this rich, snobby white girl, you know the type, Weiss Sneeze, and this other chick, Blake Bestagirl. Coincidentally, the gals all end up in the same dorm room for a sleepover, and much to the chagrin of all the junior high kids watching this show, there are no partially naked pillow fights or experimental lesbianism to be found here. Yeah, as it turns out, actual slumber parties consist of only 2 things: critical analysis of your favorite literary works, and barely suppressed urges to murder each other. Probably all at the same time. The next day, Chris Ozpin decides the best way to form everyone's teams for life is to shoot them halfway across the courtyard and hope they don't die. MC Girl teams up with the Tsundere chick, Blondike hooks up with my current favorite character, and Jean gets his cherry popped by one alpha chick who, despite only knowing him for like 2 hours, is perfectly willing to get her freak on. Oh yeah, and there's also Pinkie Pie's Ruby Sona and this emo dude who knows way better than to stick his dick into Fruit Loops. They all get cornered by a bird and a scorpion for using priceless relics as orientation props, and for a moment, it looks like Beacon is about to become a 7 o'clock breaking news story. But nah, dude, turns out that up till now, Ruby was completely fucking with me. They had me, man. They really had me going with the outdated VR models and the economic running cycles. Because all of a sudden, they break out this extended battle sequence, and it is the metalest thing I have ever witnessed. I don't even care that they can suddenly pull off this perfectly synchronized fight choreography with absolutely zero prep work or communication. I'm too busy imagining Michael Bay's face of inadequacy if he ever watched this shit. So after orientation, the main gals get christened with the team name of RWBY, and the secondary characters are blessed with the team name of Junior Porn. The next day, the gals take 3 whole seconds to build bunk beds, but somehow can't make it to class in 5 minutes. Also, I was mostly joking about Beacon's egregious lack of student safety, but after seeing them unleash a warthog in a lecture hall, I'm perfectly convinced now that this school is actively trying to kill them. Anyway, Weiss is throwing a bitchy fit for RWBY being made leader, and honestly, I'm kind of feeling that. Like, jokes aside, I'm pretty sure it's Yang who's most qualified to head this group. Not only is she a perfectly capable fighter in her own right, she also has all of the good leadership qualities like natural charisma, intelligence, and empathy to inspire her teammates that the other 3 members really don't. Even Rubes is feeling that, and when she brings it up with Ozpin, dude is like, "Man, I can't make somebody else leader." Why not? Do you really think I have what it takes to guide my team into becoming one of the greatest that Vale's ever seen? No, it's because otherwise your team name would have to be something stupid, like Yarib or Byru or something, and we can't have that. Anyway, Weiss slipped some amphetamine into Ruby's Nesquik that night, so it's all good. The next day, Jean of Arc is suffering from performance issues, which is clearly more important to our characters than the girl who is getting sexually assaulted one table over. They all end up taking a cultural sensitivity training course, and the teacher is like, "Okay, class, raise your hand if your life is harder because you're brown." Anyway, Pyrrha discovers that Jean is becoming more and more of a pathetic, emasculated cuck that she's always wanted, and when she asks if he wants to RP a suicide, he's like, "Dude, I can't do this." Oh, it's easy. Just fall forward instead of on your bottom. You'll cover a lot more blood per square inch that way. No, I mean, I can't pull off this Rizzlord harem protagonist thing anymore. I'm not even from another world. I'm just a boring vanilla who faked my transcript to enroll here because I thought surrounding myself with bitches would make me more chattified by sheer proximity. Dude, don't you see? That kind of desperation and agency actually makes you somewhat more interesting than the average anime protagonist. Really? Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go. Cardin's about to tell you something incredibly important. Indeed, Cardin Klein heard this entire exchange and decided to use it as leverage in order to make Jean his personal bitch boy. And I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure 82% of all yaois have this exact same plot. One day, the RWBY crew and the junior porn go out on a field trip, and Cardin, the royal skid mark that he is, tries to launch a bunch of rapier wasps onto Pyrrha so they can... well... Anyway, Jean activates his balls of steel and his heart of gold by saving Cardin B after laying down a perfectly justified ass kicking. And when he returns to the roof, he's like, you know what? I realized something today. If I'm destined to live the life of indentured little bitchery, then god fucking damn it, I at least want to decide for myself who's gonna own my ass. And Pyrrha is like,
your stance is all wrong. You need to be wider and lower to the ground.
Mama?
Anyway, Bacon Academy is holding an impromptu cultural diversity festival after that whole debacle with Judy Hopps, and despite prep work moving right along and everyone being perfectly civil, Weiss sees it appropriate to stir up shit. Guys, look, a minority in his natural habitat. Let's go observe him. So the girls, for some reason, follow this train of thought, and when they can't find him, RWBY is like, yo dudes, I got a plan. I'll just ask the OC I made on character AI where he is. It never says anything wrong. Cool, let me try. Hey Penny, where are you most likely to find a Mexican/Filipino/black guy?
You have a problem with minorities? Penny's whole demeanor turns to disgust. I mean, you're clearly an Atlas type. She shakes her head. She was clearly unhappy with this question. She takes a step back from you, putting her hands behind her back. That is not an answer I will give you, for people do not belong to where you think they do.
To the break room! He's not there, of course, and Blake is finally like, Weiss, if it's all the same to you, why are you such a fucking god-awful racist? Because they betrayed us, Blake. My family gave them all the jobs they could ever want. Nannies, gardeners, housekeepers, the whole deal. And you know how they thanked us? By opening up their own modest companies, taking 0.5% of our clientele, and leaving my family's conglomerate to only turn out a $43 million profit last year.
And that made for a very difficult childhood.
Blake pisses off and dramatically reveals to an audience of absolutely no one that she herself is in fact a weeb. She hooks up with a complete and total stranger, Sun Wukong, and gives him all of her most intimate and private details. Turns out she used to be part of a Japanese media appreciation group called the White Fangs, but left one day because they mostly dissolved into a group of Naruto cosplayers. They're hella cringe though and are planning to go LARPing as the Akatsuki and commit actual crimes, however, so the two of them decide to go fuck them up. Meanwhile, the RWBY crew tries to find their token minority friend, which they now know she in fact is one because the Penny AI spoiled them all, and Yang is like, hey, that AI stuff is actually pretty cool, man. You think you can ask it how all of our lives will turn out? Yeah, sure. Penny, what will happen to me, Yang, Weiss, and Blake in Volume 9? Fuck! Anyway, as it turns out, the White Fans are cahooting with that Dick Swagger guy from the first episode, and everyone starts throwing hands. Luckily, the gals pop in, and after RWBY edits the definition in Penny's character settings, Girl summons up some auto-generated swords Urza Scarlet style, and shoots them all until one of them manages to stick a satisfying ending. White steps up and is like, you know what, Blake? In these last 12 hours, I've learned absolutely everything I'll ever need to know about racism, and as your friend, I want you to know that I'll be taking an active effort to be more aware of the prejudice, implicit bias, and privilege that I've been born into as a rich, cute anime girl so that I can be a genuine ally for people of color just like you. I'm actually white. Never mind! Thanks a lot for watching this video. I really enjoy making content like this. If you want to see me in your subscriptions, then turn on your notifications. Please support me on my Patreon. I'd really like this to be my full-time job. Please join. Come help my broke ass out. Don't forget to subscribe. And please stay tuned. I'll see you all next time.